Like we don't have to do it in person, you know? And so like it's just crazy because like a month ago, I was reading about those kinds of attacks. And now literally a couple weeks ago, this happened in my environment. And I'm just sitting here like, man, we're going at such a rate that it's gonna be almost impossible to keep up.
Joe, you've hit the nail on that. AI now accelerated the growth of anything, whether positively or negative, to a rate of weeks, months at best, versus what we used to deal with, which were years. Not anymore is what we are seeing today. The acceleration factor is unprecedented. No one is keeping up. And this is why it is crucial of what corporations should look at now. It's not the truth is everybody's going to get breached in one way or the other. What is the level of the breach is the key. You could lose a system here. You could lose, say unsecured, whatever in your cloud environment. However, you cannot lose assets, online presence. You cannot lose that. You cannot lose your reputation. This is extremely important. It is the key factor of how we should exist. Reputation now is important. Look at the level of breaches. People are losing data. So let's look at the growth of AI now. With these platforms that are in the dark web, by the way, highly accessible. For $200 to almost $1,800, you can have the world at your hand, between your fingertips. You can generate malware, brand new malware. It's brand new. It's yours. You can launch the malware via campaign. You can rent your command and control as well as your distribution site and the collection points. You can own it all. You can own a botnet for 10,000 machines, 20,000 machines, 30,000, whatever number you want. It's how much you would pay. Organized crime can pay. I mean, 10 grand, 20 grand is not okay, they'll pay it, but because they steal it from somewhere else. So that level of sophistication is out there. So the good guys, the white hat, are really struggling now to keep up with what's going on. And we're all are saying the same thing. So what is the answer then? The answer is you have to think in terms of zero trust. If you are a corporation or an enterprise, you must have a layered approach to security. You must have partners. It's non-negotiable. You can't run just a data center anymore thinking the world is great. No, you have to run the data center and your cloud with trusted partners. And those trusted partners must be auditable. And to keep up with AI, you're going to have an AI team. You got to have it. You got to have people who understand AI, not to just read about, implement. And corporations must invest now. This is, with all the respect, whoever doesn't do it, they're doing two things to their organization. Number one, they will lose the game, definitely in their field. So let's say their field is manufacturing something. Somebody's going to come with an automated method via AI and will take that business, that manual business out of their hands. That's it. They lost their bread and butter. But the other one is they're going to lose it for the bad actors, the cyber criminals. These guys are so crafty. That's all they do all day long. They're organized. They don't come as one person like in the old days. 20 years ago, we used to have this kid who's sitting in the basement trying to hack into things, and he or she have pizza droppings on their shirt. No, this is not who we are dealing with. We're dealing with people who know how to do reconnaissance, scanning. They look at your social media for your corporation. They understand your job postings. They know your executives. In that example you mentioned, they cloned the CEO's voice. That means they have used AI cloning. They probably have already, not only the spoofing part is an old scam, which is spoofing the headers of an email, but it tells you that probably the campaign or the kit that was sold to them was not comprehensive. And that's why they fumbled by calling the wrong number, because they had an old number.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. To be honest with you, you guys lucked out on this one. But imagine if they have the right number. Social engineering is so crucial. If the company doesn't train their employees on social engineering, and if they don't have a security program, what is the security program? Penetration testing through third party, trusted partners, as well as you. You, the owner of that corporation, must execute, must have security teams that do that. You should have vulnerability assessment program. You must have you must have a CISO to attend to your security policy and adherence, training. Oh my God. If corporations take this lightly, they're in trouble. Think in terms of your online presence. Let's say corporation XYZ that exists online. If you think in terms of somebody hijacking that domain name, what would that corporation do? You know, I go to security conferences and we are a vendor, and I go to the vendor floor and I ask a simple question. So all these security companies, well funded by the VC world in Silicon Valley, well funded. I ask them two questions. Who's your registrar and who's your DNS provider? Here's after a year of investigation and doing that survey. Here's the finding. More than 93% of the folks who are on the floor within that security company don't have a clue. Not even don't have a clue. They'll tell you, I really don't know. That's a good question. Shouldn't be a good question. You should tell me, I know the person who knows the answer. You don't have to know the answer, but I know the person who will give you the answer. You must know your registrar, your domain name, which you do your online presence. You do your online, if you are a financial institution, that's online banking. If you are a manufacturing company, it's your website with a user ID and password to log into that portal. It's your reputation. People don't know who they register. And then when you find out who the registrar behind them, oh my God, it could be some retail registrar that no one had heard of just because they have some cheap
Yeah.
services offered to that. And they don't know. And you look at the company, you will see the marketing department, they're buying their own domain names. The legal team is buying their own domain, the IT team. This is called shadow IT. Shadow IT comes when you have no security policy that controls who gathers all these domain names and how these domain names are being managed and how they are being renewed. It's not about renewing and managing, it's your reputation. And the same apply for your DNS. Who's managing that DNS? Do you have a business continuity plan as part of your security posture or your security program? Okay. Okay. Let's say the DNS services have been taken out by a DDoS attack. What do you do? What's next for you? And then someone will say, yeah, don't worry about it. We can scrub the traffic through our partner. Yeah, really? Okay. Most of the time when you are under DDoS attack, start thinking that you have blended attack, that they are doing something else to your organization. While your team is busy doing DDoS mitigation, something else is happening. And by the way, when you do a DDoS mitigation, you lose some of your real traffic. Most corporations are going to go through this DDoS attack, recon being, if you are well known on the internet, you are going to be attacked. The question is, can you defend? And that's where the game is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, for myself, right? For my own personal IT security and hygiene, I tried to not be the soft target on the block, so to speak, right? And it's funny, right? Because I'm in a young neighborhood. There's a lot of families with kids all around me and everything. And there's a group of kids that will ring your doorbell, run away, light some fireworks off in front of your house in the street, just